Hello. Hold on, let me write FAQ. How do you tab? Hold on. Little FAQ. Little pistol. Little pistol is not a map. It is a production. I am getting people to finish the project in a cohesive more cohesive way than map. I haven't accepted applications. I am working on pre-production alone. I'm gonna pin this. No one will read it, as per usual. But I'll pin it because I'm going to expect a lot of people will be like, oh my gosh, is this gonna be a map? Oh my gosh, you're actually finishing it. I've been working on this. So I'm gonna do that. Maybe not all stream Magnolia, but probably like most of it. I have a couple things I can bounce back and forth from. I've been working on layouts and character sheets, so I'll let you guys see that. None of it's like NDA or anything. I'm like, anyone that's helping work on it will be able to share whatever they want. I'm not doing any NDA. This was me doing a character layout. For the first shot of Blue Star, I showed that on stream. We've done this layout, I think I showed on stream. This is just a title screen layout. Here's another title screen layout. Yeah, mods might actually have to do some work today. It might be a really busy stream. This is a title screen layout, so there'll be words in the middle of this one. I like this one in black and white, but I don't really like it in color that much. But I think that the words on this one are gonna be in red. I think this is gonna have the screen that says like Blue Star's little pistol or something like that. So I think that this will have like slightly red words, so we'll see. Comp can fix that. And I did this layout that'll be used for 3 separate shots yesterday. This one will be blurred for every single shot it's used for. That's what I used. I need to do a prop design for the poppy. So, been working on that. We're gonna work on this layout today, at least. We'll work on some character layouts as well. I was working on Misty and Stone. Lots of Stone thoughts yesterday. Misty and Stone. Because these 3 are the only ones in the first scene. So I'm just working on the first scene right now. I have some friends and stuff that are willing to help me kind of test how the production will go for this. I already have someone working on... in one of the shots, I have somebody working on the water animation already. This is my personal workflow because I'm the only one doing pre-production right now. But I'm not doing the animation. I'm going to be doing character layouts, and I'll be like redlining models and stuff. The models aren't gonna be super strict. Like, they have to just pass my vibe check, basically. Like, I'm not worried about, like, my proportions change and my styles a lot for certain characters, but right now I'm just doing all the layouts myself. Though, my co-background director has offered to help, and we do have styles that work very well together, so. But right now I'm just doing all the backgrounds myself because I feel like I can do the backgrounds myself right now. For those of you, a little background on Little Pistol while people are popping in. Little Pistol's been on, I've been working on it since 2015, actually. So 2015 was when the first rough thumbnail boards posted to YouTube. It is not the boards that everyone remembers. The cleaned up animatic is what everyone remembers. That was posted in 2017. So apparently the 10-year anniversary of Little Pistol was in March of this year. Which is probably why I decided that I wanted to kind of like bring it back into focus. So it was never, I always intended to finish it from the 2017 boards, yes. But my original intent to finish it was for more of a PMV style. So when I was doing it by myself, I was just gonna clean up the boards, do the color keys. I wasn't going to animate any of it except for maybe like one or two scenes that were animated in the animatic. As time went on, people have offered to help finish it. I've warmed up to that idea. I have a little bit more experience working in a production that follows character models, that follows like a pretty professional workflow that I feel like I could confidently probably direct like a passion project production. It's not going to be that long. I do have a whole production sheet, so I can tell you exactly how many. Let me get the Little Pistol production sheet. It's only got like 86 shots through the whole thing. Some of it's very minimal animation. I am going to be modifying the board slightly in some places, probably just a handful of shots that I feel are redundant or do not. This is actually one of the shots I'm changing the acting on right here. So this shot of Blue Star, this is a shot of Blue Star in her den right before Tiger Claw comes in, and she's already scared in this shot, and I don't want her to be scared yet. I don't want her to become scared until Tiger Claw turns. So this just feels like a preemptive emotional change for her. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna get rid of a couple of like the Fireheart reaction shots because I feel like they are also redundant and could probably be used to show something different. But yes, so in about 2019, I would say like 2018, 2019, I started to clean up the animatic. What you're seeing in the little screen on the bottom right is these cleaned up boards. So this was the first time I tried to finish Little Pistol in like a colored sense. I had done color scripts all the way up to scene 4. Yeah, this is scene 4. So I had done the color keys up to scene 4. I had cleaned up all of scene 1 and 2, and I had cleaned up about half of scene 3 when I dropped it. And I am coming back to it. I've been working on the new iteration for, I'd say ever since Darklands Chosen dropped, I have started to dedicate a little bit of free time to this. But But yes, this is actually my portfolio website. So the original boards were completed in their entirety. This is what the intended product looked like when I was the only one working on the production. Now that we have more people working on it, it's going to be 2D animated. It's going to have character models. The character models are going to be updated because the original character sheets for Little Pistol were done with the intention of it being a PMV. So the markings are not animatable at all, especially when it comes to like Tiger Star and such. They were done with the intent of it just being like an illustrative and moving picture type thing. So I have updated the design, so they're not as realistic anymore compared to like the newer ones, but I have been trying to keep I've been trying to keep them fairly complicated. It is a small project, so I have managed to, to the best of my abilities, translate this more realistic Tiger Star design into a more animation-friendly, tied-down version. This is the next scene. Oh, that video is unavailable, apparently. Why is that not available? Did I delete it? From my YouTube? Whatever. Well. Anyway, we're working on this one scene. So I will eventually open up people to help finish the animation, to help possibly comp it together. I'm fairly confident in my basic After Effects skills that I could like comp a simple scene. I have a couple friends that are better compositors than me that have offered to help. I'll need special effects animators for water and for fire specifically. There is a whole scene with fire, and there are a couple of scenes with water. Water is a motif that is repeated throughout the project. And there are some complicated scenes, but the entire project is, I would say, pretty light on animation. It probably doesn't need too much animation. There's no fight scenes in it. There's running scenes. There are dynamic camera. There's not really any dynamic camera actions, but there are camera angles that are harder to animate. There's one that is a worm's eye view facing up towards the sky, and Blue Star runs across the shot, but I have not started getting animators yet. And I am not opening up for backgrounds at the moment. At the moment, I feel like I can handle, well, for the first scene, I can handle the backgrounds. If I do open up, it will probably be for color. I have not decided yet. Whether it be for like cleaning up, or it just depends. I don't have any particular time frame to work on this. I'm not setting myself a deadline. Like I said, I've been working on Little Pistol for 10 years. It is a beast that takes its time. And it will always take its time. So. That is the too long didn't watch of Little Pistol. I'm currently working on backgrounds, character sheets, color keys, and storyboard revisions. And then I also need to come up with an animation guide. Anyway, today we are going to work on this background. I have actually already color splashed this one, but it needs cleaned up. Little Pistol will be in 4K. It's a 4K resolution, so it'll be nice and big. I decided to do 4K. I'm not going to lie, mostly because it's an easier size to print out prints for. I don't think it'll have a trailer. I could imagine it having a trailer when the first scene is done as like an applications are opening type thing. I don't know why I would have a trailer other than that. Okay, let me pull out this one and see what my line size was. It's a 4K canvas, so it's a 4K resolution. I'm not sure what the exact dimensions are, but just look up 4K dimensions. I think I did 12. I think for the big boys in front of here, it's the 15 though. Or maybe it's 18? 18 for foreground stuff. Let's do the foreground first. Foreground's down here. And then I want to edit. I really don't need that many people. Well, there's only like a few shots, I think, that need... I guess this is a fighting scene, but it's like a very quick one. Like I said, the original boards were boarded with the intent of it being a PMV, so transforming it into like a completely animated thing, some shots will just not need animation, period. That's really all I have on here. Okay, whatever. Okay, I switched how I did my ferns a little bit to make them a little easier. I don't do every single... I kind of draw this original sort of shape. And then I start going in and breaking it up into its own parts. For the little pistol war. I really don't know. There's just a few things that I'm like a little bit worried about. I'm a little bit worried on like my ability to give proper directing on the animation. I am a much more of a fan of minimal in-betweens through various keyframes, but I'm not sure exactly how I would keep the animation style. I understand that it's like a harder... I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet. I'm not animating it by myself. I'm actually not animating it at all. Oh yeah, art fight's still going on. How's everyone's art fight doing? I hope you guys are doing good. You only have a couple more days left, right? Yeah, I was talking about someone earlier I was talking to one of my compositor buddies about some compositing stuff that I really trust. And I was talking to one of my friends about the board revisions that I really trust on like boarding and like directing, so... The original little pistol boards never had anyone else look at them except for me while I was working on them, so... It's been nice to have someone else be part of the process and like it not just be... Because you miss a lot of stuff when it's just you working on boards. I want another burn popping out behind this rocky. This rock's a little weird. I don't think it's really that necessary with how cut off it is, but... Three shots left for my art fight PMV. Ooh. Very awesome. I hope you get it done. This art fight, like, just, you can't upload anything. So you have, what, 2 days? And after the 2 days, you just can't upload anything else? But the amount I learned in 3 hours. After Effects is really nice because it's really frustrating to use, but you do feel like very accomplished when you finally learn something. But my learning retention for After Effects is absolutely horrendous because as soon as I close After Effects and I come to it the next day, I'll be like, wait, how did I do that again? That's pretty much my entire experience with After Effects. I have to like relearn everything every time I open it. Then you have to line the background. Oh, so you line the cats first. That's interesting. I like sketch the cat first, and then I line the background, and then I line the cats. This is like its own plane. It'll be blurred, I believe, in the final comp. I would blur it. So my unique. And I'm the director. So I'm allowed to do whatever I want. You don't just buy After Effects, it's part of Adobe, so you have to subscribe to it every month. I have to go back to the same tutorial video. Yeah, I have an entire tutorial, like, playlist on After Effects because I will not remember it. I'll be like, I'll remember what the After Effects, like, tutorial thumbnail is. I'm like, this is the one I need to do what I need to do right now. But I can't tell you. You have to, like, sometimes you have to open up the programming and, like, code and crap like that to actually, like, properly code After Effects stuff. And I'm just like, this sucks. Death. $33 cats? That's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, Wind Clan before the Broken Star raids is pretty crazy. Wind Clan before the rabbit poisonings is also pretty crazy. They never really recover from the rabbit poisonings, though. Sad to see. color the cats before doing the background. That's fair. Everyone has their own way of, like, tackling giant pictures. The only right way is that it's finished at the end. Just don't fall into the trap of, like, not finishing it. That sucks when that happens. I think that's simple enough. I've never seen Arcane. It's on my list of things I need to do. And that I need to finish it, or I need to watch it. There's like 2 seasons now, right? Crazy. You learn that a lot of people do backgrounds first. Well, for me, it's easier to place a background, place a character properly in a background if it's actually there. I guess I'd kind of do them both in tandem, though. Kind of have like a character layout. Whoa. 2 just fell short. I don't know. I heard the directing in the second season is pretty, like, great. Like the shots and cameras and stuff like that. Yeah, isn't Arcane like mature? It's like rated R or something like that. I don't know. Some N64 game. Sounds like it could be Paper Mario. It's Kirby 64. I never really got into Kirby. I feel like the only Kirby game I played was Kirby Air Ride and Kirby Squeak Squad. Kirby Air Ride was my crap, though. I am definitely excited for a sequel, like an updated Kirby Air Ride. City Trial was like chef's kiss. Everything is detailed with lore. I don't know. I feel like that's the point of creating something, is to have a backstory for it. Sometimes I feel like people use lore. Is lore and backstory like now interchangeable in the lexicon? Tyler One Guy. Oh yeah. You made me look at him. Yes, like yesterday. Neon. Not yesterday, Sunday. God, it's been so long. I've been here so very long, yeah. I don't think so, Mop, because people will be like... I guess that's kind of like ironically used, though, when you like, your friend tells you something that happened in their past and you're like, wow, I just learned so much new lore about you. So I feel like lore is used completely interchangeably and no one ever uses backstory anymore. It could be used ironically, though. But just because it's used ironically doesn't mean people don't use it, you know? Welcome and come play with us. Who is messaging me? Magnolia! Ooh. Okay, so this is... after they get back, right? Oh, I like your Thrushwing. Yeah, that is a lot of cats. You've got some good depth going in on this picture, though. Yeah, I'll show you guys. That is too small. There's some good depth going on in this picture. I like this Thrushwing. I like those color combos. It's kind of like a, if Silver Flame wasn't, like, pale. I like the underbelly being that much. Oh, look, Running Paw is, like, getting ticks out of Rushtail. That's so cute. I've never done that in any of my pictures. I've never had, like, an apprentice. I guess I had in my River Clan when I had Moss Paw and Ember Paw, like, getting moss, but... oh, wow. The rabbits... yeah, the Gorskit's cute. Aww. Oh my gosh, why are you sitting like that, Stagleap? That's funny. That's cute. You're doing good work there, Agnolia. Okay, let me turn down the music. Aw, thanks, Mito. He's being chill. He is being chill. Okay. I actually don't usually put these back lines on the outside. It's usually just something I put on the inside of the ferns. But I think about it, that's why I can't get it to properly work. I'm gonna leave that just space as grass. Another rock. Can never have too many rocks and pebbles in your background. Oh, thanks, Mito. I really appreciate it. I wonder how animators do extras? What do you mean? Like in the backgrounds? They just draw them. I accidentally stamped bushes. I can't say. I feel like I used to stamp like tree grass and stuff like that, but nothing really comes close to just painting your backgrounds for me. I'm sure that if I like found like the holy grail of like background bushes, but the other thing about me is I prefer my backgrounds to be lined because the characters are lined. Whenever I do backgrounds and are not lined and the characters are lined on top of them, it feels like I cannot incorporate them properly into backgrounds. Does that make sense? I don't know. It does in my monkey brain. Hey, Fusion. Errand time. Finish those errands, errands, errands. Yeah, this is like from like Banjo-Kazooie or something. Okay. And you guys can see how I clean up my backgrounds too, because we're gonna finish this whole background. You guys are gonna sit here and watch me finish this whole thing. Yeah, feel free to style study. I don't care. I mean, I've definitely mixed lined and lineless backgrounds into my stuff before. But I just, like, always would prefer to... Usually if I do that, it's because the person asked me to. So, like, when I help people finish map parts, I always ask them, like, do you want a lined background or a lineless? And then they usually go linelit. Or they don't usually. Some of them will be like, I prefer lineless. The only thing with lined backgrounds is that if your lines are, like, super thick compared to the animation, it can be awkward. So you do have to, like... You'll have to work on that too, you know? I mean, having lined backgrounds brings up a new set of issues on, like, compositing them together. But, like, with lineless, you have to do the cartoon show thing, where if a character does end up interacting with some part of the background, it has to be lined, and then people immediately know, like, when that object is, like, important and all this stuff. I don't know, man. Like, in this specific video, Blue Star is dropping this flower on this mound. And can you imagine if, like, the mound was not lined and the flower was lined? I don't know, it would just look really weird. I don't think it's necessarily more difficult. I'd honestly say that having lineless, you can get away with a lot more of a messy painting style. And it's definitely takes a longer amount of time to do lines, for sure. Okay, so the mid-ground on this will be all of this section. So it's gonna be big. And actually, let me do this. I'm also waiting. My cousin gave birth last night, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. So if I do end up having, like, if I have to BRB really quick, it's probably because I got a call, and I'll be back. Yeah. I'm excited. Like, my sister? My sister is not. That would not be happening to my sister. I'd be worried if that was happening to my sister. I'd be like, you kept this from me for 9 freaking months? Okay, and then the proper background will have like 12, I think. Okay, give me a second. I just want to keep this one layout above as a reference for how I did the burns again. Okay, Farnies. I just wanted to simplify them a little bit for this, just because I do use ferns to populate a lot of scenes. Ants are nutritious? Are they? This feels like color splash music. Ants. We've always had ant problems here, Agnolia. It's just like living semi-close to the woods and or outside. You just have ants. There's no way around it. It's unfortunate. An unfortunate reality. I want some to be over this rock, actually. Give it a little bit more dynamicism. Having things overlap helps make it not feel as flat. Also, well, this one's kind of creeping up the tree, so... I think I have to do 1, 2... I have to do a couple more backgrounds for... I'm about halfway done on the backgrounds for scene 1, I believe. Take wasps over ants. No. I think I'd take ants. At least, like, ants, you can, like, put out the ant little, you know, spray things or whatever. Adding some elevation also helps make your background look more interesting. Add some cliffies. And then I think I want to kind of smooth this out just a bit. I want most of this to be kind of rocky. I don't imagine this to be like sunning rocks or anything. Obviously, there's not any huge rocks. But I do imagine a lot of river sides, at least like in West Virginia and stuff where I go to the river, they tend to have just like a lot of rocks on their river, on the shore. I usually just put a lot of rocks around rivers. It's just something I noticed. I think I inadvertently make all of Warrior Cats pretty much like in West Virginia. Warrior Cats is just West Virginia to me. Mountain Mama. But West Virginia is where my family typically vacationed when I was younger. Like, we did a lot of camping in West Virginia in the Appalachia, so a lot of my nature moments that just come to my head tend to be like West Virginian landscapes. Okay, and then there's a tree behind here. Ugh, stop doing the freaking zoom in tool, ya dum-dum. Okay, you don't want the tree to get too cut off by the corner of the... So this black box that's around here is my edge safe. So I draw beyond like what's going to be shown on camera just in case I want to modify it a little bit. But I want the tree root to like be around this rock, coming up towards it. And then folding up the tree root like this helps give it some dynamic feeling, not too flat. I do struggle with tree roots though. Most of the time I just try to hide them like I did with this fern. Not gonna lie. How do I choose the song? I don't really... So typically what happens is I listen to the song and I get an idea. So choosing the song is not the issue. I just listen to the song and I'm like, oh yeah, this is exactly what needs to happen during this. I don't come up with an idea and then choose a song for it. I've never done that. Trees need to be big at the base to be able to support them, so trees should always be bigger at the base than they are at the top. They always get gradually smaller. There's only been like a couple of times. I mean, I've never been able to satisfactorily be like, oh, I want to make a song about X character and then like listen to a song and force it to be about that character. It's always been, I'm listening to a song and then I suddenly am like, wait, this is like perfect for this specific like character moment, story moment, the feel of the song, the beat, the when the anger releases in the song, when the high moment of the song is, it's perfect for such and such character. And then I'll start listening to the song over and 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 over, and like slowly see it in my mind like materialize into something more concrete. And if at that point where I have confidently about like, I'd say like 70 or 80% in my mind, like that is when I will maybe draw something for it. Maybe like think about, well, how do I want to use this song? Do I want to make it a PMV? Do I want to make it a map? Do I want to do an animatic? Do I want to just like make a single illustration to it and call it a day, you know? I listen to it over and over and over again. I can't underestimate how many times I listen to a song that I've done a project to. Before you guys have even heard it. Do a little bit of overlapping on the leaves. Leaves come out of little branches. They don't come out of the... Well, they do. They can come out of the giant branch like this. Especially if like the tree is dead and it'll go back down to the bottom and it'll start sprouting leaves like up here to try to start reviving itself. That's happening to one of the trees in my yard right now. I've been watching it. It's very interesting. So like when I come in here and I say, guys, I have the perfect idea for an XYZ video, it means that at that point, I was listening to a song. I might have just so happened to be thinking about the character. See, that's why in a lot of the times I just make videos about characters I like, because I'm usually just thinking about them consistently, like throughout the day. Not throughout the day, but like I was probably like thinking about the character or like something. So like subconsciously I was already thinking about it when the song came on, and I was like, wait a second. This is like really interesting. I would not try to force it. Yeah, see, I don't do that, Rosiah. I feel like when you start doing that, like you're listening to a song and you're like, how do I make it about this character? That's when the... I feel like if you're... It's easy to tell when someone has done that. Because you start thinking about the song and you're just like, I don't understand, like, how this really fits this character. That's when you start getting the AUs, because people are like, well, I need to make this song more like this character, but it's like not like it at all. Let me make an entire AU to make it so that it's like vaguely related to this character. I'm sure that not every map has been like that, but I feel like I can tell you like a couple that are probably, well, I know that because the people have outright pretty much stated that that's the case. I feel like it's a lot more compelling as a project if the song feels like it fits what's happening. I mean, obviously they don't have to all the time. Like if it's like a more techno-y song or doesn't have that many lyrics, sometimes just the feel of the song works better. Yeah, some just don't fit. And I just don't feel like AUs are as compelling to me as when somebody takes a Warrior Cats thing that I have read already. Like, I've already done my homework and read Warrior Cats, right? So when somebody takes a Warrior Cats idea and just, like, makes it to a song where I don't have to read anything else to it, I feel like it's much more compelling to me than, like, okay, first I have to read your AU. Even if it's, like, a simple AU. Like, this is an AU where... I mean, I guess simple ones are fine, but then sometimes it'll be like, this is an AU where X joins this clan, and then this clan was like this, and then this burn never happened, and all this stuff, and then now you can watch the video, and I'm just like, I don't know. This seems like just so much homework. I'm lazy. Adding moss and stuff to your trees can help break up the monotony of the brown color. BT dubs. I like AUs when they're like my friends and I've already done like the work and everything. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like anti-AU. I just, from somebody that's not actually like reading about your AU and has come in like completely blind, you have to understand that it's not as compelling for like an average viewer. Is that owl tree? I just did that to also break up the monotony of this one. How do I remember Warrior Cats books? I don't know, I've read them like 50 times. Mossy Rock. And it's fine to make AU videos that are just like for you and your friends. Like that's a completely okay thing to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, for me, an average viewer that just stumbles upon it, it's not as compelling to me. Just doing, like, a Warriors... Labeling it as, like, a Warriors AU or Warriors fan thing... It's just harder for me to understand what's happening, just from watching it, usually. Not all the time. But not every video is made for everyone. This is fine. a close-up of this rock, right? That I've started? Yeah, I did start that. Okay. So it's like a very fluffier moss. It's not a very, okay. I would agree with that, Ratty, but I don't really... Basically, I agree with that, and that's the reason that immediately when I have something in my recommended that says Warriors AU, I'm just like, I'm not gonna be able to understand this. I just treat it like it's a fan original story. I guess I grew up on like the Tumblr AU days where AUs were just like, AUs to me are you keep the character's motivations and interests exactly the same, but you switch like the setting. So like Warrior Cats, but it's in the city, but it's like there's every character still acts the same. Or Warrior Cats in the ocean, on the ocean, Warrior Cats in, I don't know, Japan. Why am I cleaning this up? I'm just sketching. Hello? Okay. Yeah. I feel like AU is used very liberally nowadays. Like, I'm not sure. I mean, like, it'll be a Warriors AU where it's, like, combining multiple characters, combining multiple plot lines, combining, like, different aspects of some random character's plots and putting it to another person. And I'm like, I don't understand how this is an AU. This is just, like, a rewrite. This is, like, rewritten, reimagining. Very confused. Okay, there's three flowers in front. Like, an AU to me is like the Boon AU, where it's like the core concept of the AU is Rusty doesn't get to join ThunderClan and Tiny did. That's the core concept of the AU. What if Tiny joined ThunderClan and Rusty didn't? I'm like, okay. But all the characters still act the same, you know? Like, they're all still, like, neutral evil, or, like, lawful evil, or, like, whatever. Yeah, I feel like if your AU can't be described to me, if it doesn't pass the elevator conversation, it's too complicated. If you guys know what the elevator pitch is, your AU needs to pass the elevator pitch. Like, my friends, couple of my friends' AUs are like, what if there was a cat to help Hawk Frost through his trauma and his evil thoughts? What if Maple Shade's kit, one of Maple Shade's kits actually survived? You know, those are like quick AU explanations. And I'm like, okay, I'm down. I'm interested, sign me up. I mean, yeah, of course it takes a lot longer to like describe all of the basics and stuff like that, but alternate universes are just too much like rewrites nowadays. And then I'm like, well, I've already gone through the trouble of reading every single Warrior Cat book like multiple times. I really don't feel like reading them all rewritten by somebody again. Like... But these are like completely different than like just OC inspired Warrior Cat stories. Those are fine. I mean, all of these are fine. Just because they're not my cup of tea doesn't mean that they're like not interesting. Trust me, I'm not like bashing these. This is a completely personal problem I have. Just not my cup of tea. And don't get me wrong, I like when people explore like certain ideas. I would like for them to be... I feel like if you're introducing a new idea to me though, I mean, I don't think video format is the proper way to do that for most people. It takes a lot of skill to be able to board something like that. And have like that first experience be a good way to introduce you into the idea. You have to have like proper professional boarding skills. It's way easier to follow like canon Warrior Cat stuff because even if the directing isn't like super great or like the shots aren't amazing, you at least have like read what's happening so you can kind of like fill it in your brain. But I feel like most like OC maps and like AU maps are made for the people that have read and interacted with the plot already. Just like regular Warrior Cats maps are made for mostly people who have interacted with Warrior Cats already. It's very interesting to think about. I have noticed that a lot of projects that get done nowadays are like AUs and stuff. I don't know if like people are just bored of... There's a lot of things that aren't really super explored in Warrior Cats in every single arc, I feel like, but I mean there's so much content for Warriors that it's kind of hard to say like we've explored it all. Like the books are literally still coming out too. I feel like some people are just like too attached to like arcs 1 through 4 characters that they don't want to like branch out. Yamito. They could always make maps themselves of the clan stories. Yeah, I did that. Okay, there's like flowers on this side of the rock too. I want to... Well, you better read A Starless Clan if you want to join my next map. Looks at you. Make people read the new Warrior Cat stuff. Not because it's like good, but just because I feel like I don't want to animate from the first couple arcs anymore. That's not true. I mean, obviously I'm still working on Little Pistol, and Sing of the Moon's gonna have a lot of first arc stuff. First arc, second, third arc stuff. Actually, it doesn't have too much stuff from the third or fourth arcs in it. It'll have, like... man, it might have the Eclipse. Or have Firestar's death, probably, but, I mean, like, it's a PMV that encompasses all of Warrior Cats. Of course you have to have Firestar's death. Okay. I think that's fine for a sketch. Maybe add a little bit more grassy bladies. All pointing towards Blue Star. I always try to point my grass blades towards whatever. Most of the time I try to. Obviously I don't do that all the time, but I do try to point them towards wherever you're supposed to be looking in the comp. You can't do that all the time, but usually a pretty safe way to sketch all your grass blades. Hey, Lottie. Where it just showcases the like territories of the clans in each part. That's a cool idea. I like that idea. Sometimes the simplest ideas are the best ones to make maps out of. I'm gonna be real with you. Sometimes I feel like maps try to tell too much of a story. Like Starshield's Chosen, I'm very proud of the final thing of it, but it is one of my maps that tries to tell the biggest story overall. It's kind of meant to be like that. I wanted to kind of capture my initial thoughts was to capture the epicness of like a leader's life and just how much that these cats usually have to go through to like become leader, and it's not technically like it's not all super happy and the connection that each of the leaders have, but it has a lot going on. It's trying to tell the story of like 8 or 9 different cats. I feel like the better maps are the ones that try to tell a simple story. And I think that there's a reason that a lot of popular maps kind of rely on like really quote-unquote overused scenes, because they're the easiest ones to just convey immediately where you are in the plot compared to like a Warrior Cat book and stuff like that. There were more Feathertail maps. There's the Sounds Like Thunder one. That's a PMV. Lottie, have you seen Trouble in My Neighborhood? Hold on. Or Stranger in My Neighborhood? Something like that. It's a Shadow and River Clan PMV. That one's fun. I have an idea for a Stormfur map. It would have Feathertail in it, but it would have Feathertail and her characterization in the actual... So my thing about Shadow and River Clan is I like it a lot, but if you read it and then you read like Moonrise, you kind of realize They swapped Stormfur and Feathertail's personality for Shadow and River Clan. I think it's... Stormfur is the one that's always had issues. In like, his book, he has issues with, like, fitting into to River Clan. It's one of the reasons why he decides to just, like, leave it. Feathertail is a much more, like, hopeful and optimistic person, and that's kind of why she decides to go... I feel like she's the one chosen to quote-unquote save River Clan in Midnight. Stormfur... I honestly don't... Like, Stormfur doesn't want to be in River Clan if Feathertail's not there. That's why he goes with her. They're, like, very connected. Yeah. I like Shadow and River Clan, but they kind of just swapped Stormfur and Feathertail's personality in it. Yeah, I feel like it could have had more interesting sibling conversations in it, for sure. Hey, Jatoibo, welcome in. I don't know, I feel like Werecats usually does an okay job with familial relationships for, like, 2 litter kittens. Like, overall. When it gets to be, like, 3 or 4 cats, then it struggles a lot. But 2 litters are pretty well established connection-wise. I do feel like mother relationships are explored a decent amount in, like, newer stuff and in super editions. Leafpool and Squirrelflight's sibling powers. I feel like... Well, we don't really get to see them. It's really only something you can show in their point of view, you know? I feel like it's just another thing that they started. It's kind of like the Cinderpelt resurrection thing where they did it, but they didn't really know where they wanted to go with it, so they kind of just drop it after they don't really realize that they know what they want to do with it, type thing. A lot of stuff in Warrior Cats is only relevant when it needs to be plot relevant. Personalities included. Yeah, there aren't that many Cinderpelt maps. I was talking about this with someone earlier this week, actually. Yeah, Toon. Hi, Toon. Oh, that's a root. I'm like, what is this, like, triangle thing? That's not a good sign. It needs to be much more clear what it is. Wait, telepathic? I don't think they were telepathic. They had like empath powers. Telepathic implies that they could like... I guess it is kind of like a telepathic. They just had like a connection. It was weird. It was never touched upon afterward. And it was only used for burdock root. That's fine. I legitimately don't know if... Well, I think it's kind of obvious that Vicky, when she brainstormed the new prophecy, that she only intended for it to be 3 books, because I feel like she introduces a lot of stuff in that arc that some of it goes places, like the Dark Forest. I feel like the stuff that's introduced at the end of the arc actually goes places, but the stuff at the beginning doesn't really do anything because she was under the impression that there was only going to be 3 more books in the entire Warrior Cat universe. But I think when they commissioned the last 3 books of the New Prophecy, they probably also commissioned the next arc. In my mind, is the case. So they didn't really think through... Well, they never really think through anything, do they? I'm giving them a lot of benefit of the doubt. That's going to be super clean, I say, as I clean up every single line in my head. Oh, hi Dino, I didn't see you there. Tree lining is all about... What's the word I'm looking for? Simplicity. Simplicity? That's not a real word. It's about balancing detail. There we go. It's all about balance. You have to balance everything with everything else. It's a delicate balance when you line backgrounds, for sure. But you also, when I'm doing backgrounds for layouts like this, like animation layouts, let's be real, guys. This shot, first of all, this is a camera moving shot. No. I mean, I'll post this layout to, like, my portfolio or something like that afterward, but for the actual purpose of this video, this layout will be on screen for probably, like, 3 or 4 seconds. I try not to let too much things kind of overwhelm me. I'm zoomed in 200%. I try to only zoom into 100%, but it's hard when you're doing the lines. The lines I have to zoom in a little bit more, but to keep it. Trying to work on your background detail? Well, things up front, in front of the camera, up close, are always going to have more detail. And you have to think about how big the character is going to be. Like, this background, the character in this background is fairly tiny compared to, like, well, this one. I mean, the characters in this one are super tiny. This is a background layout. This is a layout that should, like, you're just going to be looking at the background. This layout starts all the way up here. There's a camera move on this one. There's a camera move. So it starts up here. And then it moves. It starts up here and it moves down to here. Because it's focusing on Blue Star's head and then it goes down to this. So this is a background layout, right? So I'm going to be working on it more than, like, say, this layout right here is a character. This shot is a character shot where, you guys, after this is done, once this is in After Effects, all of this background is going to be blurred. It's going to be completely blurred. This is a super up-close shot of Blue Star. The camera will be blurred and no one's going to be thinking about the background for that shot. It's just got to be enough to, like, keep you in the scene. I do use After Effects. I can use these lines on the tree to, like, help it with its dimensionality. Of course I saw the new graphic novel cover. It looks fine. It is acceptable for a Warrior Cat cover. Yeah, there's not going to be any break in production for the graphic novels. It's one person and a scripter doing the new prophecy. Same time frame. They have 6 months to do it. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Surely 6 months isn't enough time. From my understanding, pretty much every single graphic novel has a rushed production. And not enough time to do it. That is my understanding of the industry. It is not uncommon to have people, under very tight crunches for graphic novels. And then a little bit of the trunk peeking through. Have it creep up just a little bit. Try to show a little bit of dimensionality with the lines. I find that shorter tree limbs like this don't really need that much interior lines. I will be real with you. I find it hard to overdo it. I'm not a huge... I like doing these lines on the trees to like get the dimensionality while I'm posing it, but I honestly don't think that they look... it's hard for me to like be satisfied with them in the final line pass. Smaller things are going to have smaller details. Like these tree leaves don't need any interior lines on them. You're just muddying the line work. Ay, okay. Yeah, the moss is just to give the tree a little bit of life. I don't like that. I don't like that. How do I want to connect this tree limb? I think just having the interior line hit. Something like that. And then a branch off like that'll help. The GNs have likely been in production for years? No. Noah, you're wrong. The artists have about 6 months to produce the graphic novel. From being assigned to it to submitting the final pages. I know that for a fact. It is a very short amount of time. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to watch it on stream, Rin. Okay. This tree trunk is probably big enough to have a line or two on it. Honestly, sometimes it's easier for me to just do the final interior lines without the sketch underneath it. And bigger, please. Okay. The hardest aspects about drawing a scene is color scripting. That's actually one of my favorite parts of doing pre-production. It's like figuring out what the color script is gonna look like. I think the hardest part about pre-production is to actually like approve of the final product. Like approve of your pre-production before you actually like hit production, hit the button on production. I'm like a big perfectionist. So I tend to overthink things. And I'm like, what if it's not ready? What if it's not ready for production? I could do some more stuff to like make it easier in production for like the people, I don't know, you know? Actually like putting your foot down and like switching from pre-production to production is probably the hardest part of it. For me. See, I don't like this. That's fine though, I guess. Don't overthink it. I think this needs a little bit of background behind it, though. Okay, get rid of the character guide real quick. Yes, I always have to tell myself to stop overthinking it. Oh, thanks, Fog. Your after lunch sleep? I actually didn't have anything for lunch. I had a bowl of cereal for a late breakfast. I have not been very hungry lately. These flowers are all blue around here. I think sometimes like settling on Okay, having no lunch and going straight to grocery shopping. You should never grocery shop hungry. This is like the #1 rule when you're grocery shopping. Always eat before you go to the grocery. You do not want to have stomach growling moments when you're in the grocery because you will put way too much stuff in your cart. You will spend way too much money on things just because you're hungry. That's my tip for saving money. Yeah, and write a list. I know, but even when you have a list and you go hungry, there's always like, you're gonna pass things where you're like, oh yeah, I'll get this, and this, and this, and this. That's what always happens to me if I go. I don't go hungry usually. But hey, Borb. Hey, Annie's. Aw, thanks. Yeah, I've been working on it off and on for a couple of years. Well, for a decade, I guess. Financial tips with Nifty? Nah, you guys don't want financial tips from me. I just spent like $60 on Warrior Cat books. Please don't listen to me. But I will have finally completed my collection of hardcovers with this purchase. I finally just put my foot down and bought the rest of the hardcovers I needed. I needed the hardcover of Yellowfang's Secret. I needed the hardcover of A Darkest Hour. And I needed the dust jacket for Blue Star's Prophecy because young me apparently lost the dust jacket and threw it away or something. And then I needed the hardcover of A Shadow and River Clan. Now, after the haul comes in, I will have officially all of the hardcovers for every single Warrior Cat book that was released with a hardcover. I still need the Darkest Night Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. And I actually still need Enter the Clans. I just haven't bought it because I have every other field guide. Yeah, when I'm doing backgrounds, I tend to have a lot more chill of a vibe because my brain is going like at 50 miles a minute, but I feel like I can't actually narrate exactly what I'm doing. Like right now, I'm just like scribbling grass lines. And it's just like they have to feel right. I do need the box sets. Oh yeah, Dino. I have a story about that. So I have one of the book. I have the one of the 2-in-1 books. I have the Twilight and Sunset, and I was about to have the Darkest Hour and the Dangerous Path, but then my Macari person pulled the plug on me after I asked if they had shipped it. And I'm like, it's not my fault that you listed this book for like 20 bucks and I bought it immediately. And then you never shipped it to me, and then I asked, like, hey, how's it going? Are you going to ship that book anytime soon? And then they were like, oh, I'm like, I am 100% sure you saw somebody actually sell that book for like 60 bucks and you realized that you underpriced it, but you had to ship it to me, and then you just decided you weren't going to ship it to me. I did get a refund. But I'm like, I just wanted the book. You didn't have to like refund me. I just asked. They're worth a decent amount. Usually you see them, like the cheaper ones are like on the, well, the other 2-in-1 I've gotten was also, somebody was selling an entire New Prophecy book set, so it was 5 books. And they were selling it for 22 bucks on Macari. You'll find them on Macari a lot in like Warrior Cat like hauls where like parents are just selling their kids' old books. I have never seen the first book, The Fire and Ice and Into the Wild. combo is pretty freaking rare. I've never seen it for sale for under like $100. How do I plan the layout? I just feel it. Feel it out. If a space feels like empty, I add stuff in. The 2-in-1s are, I think they're like Scholastic Book Fair exclusives. They're special editions. I only have one though. I was about to have my second one. But yes, I will eventually want to own all of them, but I'm not willing to spend like $100 on them, you know? Like where they were published. Yeah. I'm not gonna tell you guys, I mean like, if you look on Mercari for the 2-in-1 box, the 2-in-1 book things, you're gonna be competing with me. But yes, Mercari is where I found all the deals for them. Because people will list Warrior Cat book hauls and they won't realize what they have. So the first one was it was a $22 New Prophecy book haul, and it had all 6 New Prophecy books, which included the Moonrise hardcover, which I needed at the time. But then it only had 5 books in it, and I looked closer and I was like, oh my god, one of those books that you're selling is the combo book. See, Mercari doesn't let you bid. Mercari, you just buy it outright. It's like a Facebook marketplace. You just gotta be on it. I have a couple of the Polish covers. You can get them in America. There are resellers in America that will sell them. I've never seen them in the wild, though. Although, apparently, like, I know that people have seen them in the wild in, like, California and stuff, but I've never seen them in the wild around here. I mean, I just get the books. I'm, like, setting up my Warrior Cat bookshelf. I mean, I just get the books because I want the books, you know? I just like having the hardcover books. It makes me feel special. But yes, the 2-in-1s are like the holy grail of like English edition stuff. They're probably the rarest American release. Can you still get the hardcovers? Yeah, you can. I do find a lot at used bookstores, but you can find them on Amazon. It's more fun to have a journey and like go to a used bookstore and see it. I found The Dangerous Path and Forest of Secrets that way. But I go through half-price bookstores a lot. I go to small owned bookstores, you know, stuff like that. It's fun. Can look at bookstores near you if you go on vacation somewhere. Look for, and you need something to do. Just go to a used bookstore around that area. It's kind of like antique shopping, you know, like bookstore. I have other books I look for at bookstores. The China-only merch. Yeah. I mean... I don't know if I am. I have the opportunity to go to Japan in November. Might be able to find some. Typically, when I go to Japan, though, I'm looking for different things than Warrior Cats. What do I think of the newer book series? It's fine. I had fun with the Starless Clan and the Broken Code. Vision of Shadows has grown on me. Dawn of the Clans is good. I do believe a Starless or Changing Skies is going to be probably pretty crappy. But I appreciate that it seems like they know how they want to end arcs nowadays, unlike they did with like Power of 3 and New Prophecy, really. As long as Changing Skies is mid. I think it's gonna be a slog. I really don't... I don't know... So typically the third book of any Warrior Cat arc is like... pivotal climactic point. Book 2, I feel like book 2 is literally just gonna be like book 1 2.0, where we're still setting up freaking main characters. Like, it literally feels like nothing is gonna happen in Hidden Moon. Third books usually peak. I would say that is not the case. It is sometimes. I don't think it's usually peak. Starless Clan is a fun read. Like, a Starless Clan's third book kind of sucked. Book 4 was peak. Book 4 was the best book of that arc. In the first series, I think that Fire and Ice is peak. In the second arc, well, none of them are peak, let's be real, in the second arc. In the third arc, literally Outcast is the third book. Veil of Shadows was the cliffhanger because there's like the battle that happens and they finally oust the imposter and stuff, though. Darkest Night. Or no, Shattered Sky was probably the best book. Shattered Sky is probably the best third book. Oh, and first. No, I lied. First Battle is the best third book. Shattered Sky is probably second. Honestly, only the 5th and 6th arc have, like, pretty good books. Well, it actually ends on a cliffhanger, Agnolia. The third book, so Veil of Shadows says, it ends with Squirrelflight going, I think I know who is possessing Bramble Star, and if it's true, then we're in we have more problems than we could, like, comprehend. So it ends on a cliffhanger. She doesn't actually say who it is until, What's the one right after? Darkest Night or something like that? Darkness Within. I get Darkest Night and Darkness Within mixed up all the time. Read the new arc once all 6 books are published. That's honestly a pretty solid way to enjoy Warrior Cats, in my opinion. It's to just wait until the entire arc is finished and read it all at once. I feel like your experience will be much more enjoyable than having to wait the literal 8 months we're gonna have to wait between books 1 and 2 for Changing Sky. I think that lately, the endings of arcs have been pretty good. So Broken Code and A Starless Clan ended on high notes, which is honestly a surprise. It's a surprising change of events. What do you guys think the next Super Edition will be? You guys think we'll have another Super Edition? This is a question that's been like bothering me because I don't remember if they usually announce that there's going to be another Super Edition before or after. Does anyone know if they have slated another Super Edition on their schedule? No, the one after Storm Clan. Like, I honestly can't remember if we usually know what the next Super Edition is. I guess we didn't know about the Storm Clan's Folly one until... No, but we knew... No, we did know about the Storm Clan's Folly one. Because when Super Edition 17 came out, Ivy Pool's Heart, they said that the Super Edition after it is going to be an overarching story that starts in Ivy Pool's Heart. So we knew about Super Edition 18 before they put out Super Edition 17. But they haven't said anything about 19. That's interesting. I know that the Super Editions don't sell that well, so I'm wondering if they have commissioned any more of them at this point, or if they're just commissioning like the graphic novels nowadays. That's really sad if that's the case. Hey, I'm young. I'm fine with Storm Clan. It's a fun concept. Let's see what they do with it. I hate when people are like, I hate this concept already. Anything that makes Warriors more interesting, I'm fine with. I'm willing to let them cook for a while. As long as what they come up with is like not sour to my taste buds, I let them cook. I don't know why I'm worried so much about the lines on this rock. It's not even going to be seen. Hi, baby. I don't think a break would kill him. Well, that's the thing, right? So typically they've been putting Super Edition pools on the website. And they haven't done any Super Edition pools lately. I also feel like with them losing Kate, they probably didn't have any other Super Editions planned until they can figure out who can write them. Yeah, she's on the desk. What, baby? Yeah, that's interesting. I'm hoping... Oh, man. I feel like them getting rid of the super editions would be so sad. I know they don't sell that well, but they have been a staple through the entire... Like, since 2007, 2008. Apple. I feel like nothing is selling as well as the graphic novels anymore, and it makes me resent them. Yeah, I know. Me too, baby. Too many that didn't need to exist. Well, that's the point of a super edition, is that it shouldn't be... It should be just an extra story. Apple, I can't see anything. You're like right in the middle of the freaking screen. Yeah, that looks fine. I honestly don't know if this line is not necessary. That's weird right there, but it's fine. I don't even know if it's going to be on screen at all. Yeah, it will be, sort of. Well, I would prefer... I mean, the Stormclan one... I don't know. They could do a super edition that ties more into the story, like an Ivy Pools Heart one. Rosaria, we don't like the graphic novels around here, so you don't have an opinion. This one needs some lines. You don't have an opinion that's not unpopular here. I don't like the graphic novels. I prefer us not to talk about them. They make me pissed when I think about them. That's fine. Okay. Apple, I can't see anything. I don't like the art. I don't think the art lends credence to why it's not taking itself seriously. I'm glad that the artist they picked for the second series has actually drawn cats before, though. It'll be an upgrade. Apple! I would prefer us not to talk about the graphic novel. Like I said, it makes me not happy. I also wish that they would do graphic novels that had new stories and not just adaptations. Apple, I can't see my layers. I can't see my layers. Baby. I cannot see anything. You need to get off the desk. I know. Let's be real. The graphic novels aren't made for the people that have read the books before. Just like the graphic novels of Wings of Fire aren't made for the people who read the books before. Because I read the Wings of Fire books, and I had no desire to read the graphic novels. Why would I want to reread the story again? I've already experienced the story in the intended way that the author originally intended the story to be created. That's why I prefer the graphic novels that have new stories. They feel like they, like, should exist. Okay. That's done. So the only thing in the background that needs sketched out are these rocks. And I think what I'm going to do is... I don't think I need to even sketch these out. I just need to... You guys see how long it takes me to draw backgrounds, by the way? This is why I don't do background commissions. This one was already, like, pre-sketched, too. Okay, we're gonna do these at 10. I'm just gonna do the tips of the rocks. I miss the Sunning Rocks disputes. I only ring Winged on Fire for the graphic novels. Yeah. So you don't read the books. That's what I'm saying. The demographic for the graphic novels and the demographic for the people that would read the books are different. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that most people that read never... I know how it depicted Tiger Star's death. I know. Smile. Anyway, we should stop talking about the graphic novel. I know I keep on bringing it up, but, like, I would really prefer not to. It depresses me greatly. In a way that I don't feel is, very fun to listen to. Mm-hmm. They could totally hit me up for the Dawn of the Clans graphic novel, and I would take a pay cut to do it, yes. Hit me up, Kulabai. Actually, I think it's HarperCollins that decides who's gonna draw them. Okay. BG... If I can work with the time crunch, I would be able to. That's what triple shot energies are for. You see, the thing is that I already have all the character designs done. And I've already read the books like 50 times. Like, if they got an actual fan that's already read the stuff and already thought about, like, drawing the graphic novels, I feel like the crunch is less of an issue. I don't care if they pay me well. I feel like I would love to have the feather in my cap of working on Warrior Cats in some official capacity at least once on my resume. Okay. Oh, I never got rid of the sketches for this. There we go. I think that's done. Okay, I'm going to combine all these layers. Color key, color separate. And I'm gonna make a duplicate. I'm going to merge this group. A mink. Alrighty, so we stick this on top. Apple! What do you want? Yeah. Okay. Apple. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break and I'm gonna give her some treats. I'll be right back. I will be right back. I return. Apple has been treated. I'm scooching up. Alrighty, so this is how I clean up backgrounds. Quick. I usually do this off stream, but I might as well make like an entire, like, I know I didn't color this background on stream start to finish, but so this is what I usually do. I have a guidelines layer down here. My character guide. Okay. So I start with each individual layer. I have a base paint down here. My original like color, this is like one layer right here. So this like all this color right here. But when I start clipping it to sections, I will start with these ferns. So I kind of like select all the ones I want. I'm actually gonna do 2 separate fern layers for this. And right here. And then expand. Probably by about 5 for this one. And then I go up. I type ferns here, ferns 1, and I fill that in. Give me a sec. There we go. That is 1 clip. Let's do a ferns 2. Make it a slightly different color. I also want this to go down here. Get the rocks going. That's it. Rocks. Clean it up just a teeny bit. And then we'll do one for moss, and then the bottom layer will have the grass. Alrighty, and then what I do is I take this original color, copy. I will do this. Put that down there. This is actually, I feel like I'm gonna darken up this back here. Also, I have a black and white here to help me, but this needs to be darker. Like, it needs to be more, like these shades. So like the ferns. But then I take this and I clip it to the original and I start cleaning it up. And then it's easy to keep everything inside the lines, but you can still be like a little messy. And you do that for each section. Also usually lock the base layer. Color down. So then this is the grass. And then I take this again. Oh, you know what? Did my sketch not have? Yeah, it did. Oh, it's on 30% though. That's why. I was like, why isn't this? Okay, that makes sense. Like, why isn't this darker? I feel like when I sketched it was darker. Because it wasn't on. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Merge down, please. It's like, why isn't that darker? That would be why. Perfect. This front part is probably going to be blurred, I think. Alrighty. This is a little bit weird because I actually, for the color key, I didn't go all the way around the edges. So I actually might kind of fill in the gaps just a little bit before I go. I just paint it on top of a whole layer. It's just easier at first. And I think yeah, I had a little bit darker color I used. I think it's slow because I'm doing backgrounds. Not as exciting work as just doing character designs, but it's necessary. Let's see, what kind of moss color do I want? I've been kind of using a much more darker green for the moss. I do kind of want to make it blue a little bit. Yeah. I don't want the moss to be too much of a different color than the top of the rock. I don't want it to like just be suddenly like a really white part of the rock. Okay. Now I will start clipping this to parts of, clip it to the rocks and start cleaning up the rocks. Clip it to the ferns, clean up the ferns. Lower, 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 lower. That's how I clean up the backgrounds on the camps as well, by the way. It helps save my hand from like zooming in and doing too much at once. And I already have the parts done. I just merge it down and I'm done. But this is why I had the 2 ferns layers, just to help me with that. Where's my other brush? Tell my hot glue gun to heat up faster. I burned myself so much on hot glue when I was a kid. What was your guys's, like, as a kid, what was your craft that you did? I did a lot, to be fair. I didn't have a single one I did. I did, like, perler beads, I did Sculpey, I tried everything. Quilling, crochet. What's, like, your craft? Wood burning, oh my goodness. I tried wood burning. I wood burned a bat box, but that wasn't until I was like in my 20s. I don't think we had like wood shop at my school though. Rubber band bracelets. Oh yeah, my sister liked making those friendship bracelets. She's really good at them. My parents forced me into sports. Sorry to hear that. I mean, I did sports as a kid. I did basketball. But then I never got my growth spurt. So I kind of had to stop playing basketball. Lighten this up a little bit. But this is why I separated the ferns, so I could just messily clean this up messily. Because cleaning up and rendering is what really will start to hurt my hand. If I don't do all this like little just to help me stay inside the lines and everything. It will destroy my hand. Has working on work at Animated changed the way you approach my work? Tangents. Probably. I didn't go to art school, so I didn't know about tangents until I started working on work at Animated. I didn't learn about the forbidden knowledge of tangents. Okay, and then I need to clean this one up over here. I render in the same layer. So these are all different layers. You can see them down here. I also wasn't as big on like checking my pictures in black and white as often. I mean, I definitely did black and white checks, but I don't do them as... I do them much more frequently now. Okay, foreground is done. Actually, I do make... I have a beefy computer. I mean, it's not a huge file. I feel like just having multiple layers on your picture doesn't necessarily make it... I mean, it does make a huge file, but I feel like it starts to get huge when you start having like layer styles on top of them. Okay, foreground is done. Next is middle ground. So I'm gonna split up all of the flowers. But I have another layer in here, so there's a whole paint file here. So I can like turn on and off the paint. Or I can turn off the whole thing. Okay, base color is usually... I just make it like a darker-ish color. Something like that. Base is usually grass. Paint. Alrighty, let's do each of the rocks on their own layer. It's for a video. Starlight. Rocky, Rocky, Rocky. Hey, Dia. Expand by 5. Rocks. Do ferns. Well, I usually just call it foliage. Oh, there's a rock I missed. I'll fix that later. I am going to put these in my foliage. Eventually. Yeah, people sell my art on Temu. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not the only one that has had their art stolen. Basically, don't buy art prints on Temu, guys. Pretty much 100% of the time, the person selling somebody's art on Temu is not the artist. They stole your stuff. There is literally nothing I can do about it. Except for tell you guys not to buy it. Well, my stuff... I have a store on Redbubble. But yes, Redbubble's also like that. Of course. Redbubble will actually let you, like, take off stuff. Yeah, they're not going to be good resolution because I haven't put the high resolution stuff on. Fine. You can report the listing, but it's not going to go away. I have my own store, Eventide. Link is in the description. I have prints available, I have keychains available, I have buttons, I have stickers. I have keychains. I think I said keychains already. I am selling my own art. And it's proper resolution, and it will be signed by me when you get it. Tiny pistol. I do have tiny little pistol prints. I have mini little pistol prints. Oh, thanks, Snake. Alrighty, let's get the moss. Actually, I feel like the moss could probably be on the ferns layer. I have done a Patreon. I wouldn't recommend pledging to it right now. I'm thinking of switching my Patreon over to coffee. For pins, I do every single character. You just have to say what character you want, and I will make it for you. I do need to put the leaf pool keychain up there because I've been super freaking lazy. Yeah, the link is in the description. It's not an Etsy, it's a big cartel, but it's an online shop. I fulfill my own orders. Get the prequels posters. Yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna start that. I guess I should probably start it soon. I have so much stuff on my plate. I was gonna maybe wait until I finished the Shadow Clan Lake Camp before I started up another headshot poster. This seems tedious, guys, but I promise this is way less tedious to like select all of these things and mask it before I start cleaning up. As you, it is 100% easier to mask all of these things before I start flipping to them. It's in the description, Onyx. Hold on, let me grab it. No, you're fine. I'm just grabbing it. You know, doing a little self-promotion. What if I send your money right now for Leaf Kit? I need to post her! I'm sorry. I've been very scatterbrained lately. I've been being stretched. I've been stretched so thin. All these every which way. I've been being... I'm gonna make the moss on this layer as well. No, it's in this video's description. I guess I should have it in my... I mean, does anyone really check channel descriptions anymore? Do people actually check those things? You read channel descriptions? That's crazy. I feel like my channel description has nothing in it. Maybe I'm just really bad at social media. Okay, now we just need the cliffs and the trunks. People like actually check channel descriptions on YouTube. I feel like they're different. They're not like right in your face like they are in like Twitter and stuff. Well, to be fair, I don't really use my Twitter description either. Arcad. What is Arcad? I've drawn all the characters. Onyx. Oh, Ringling. Okay, yes, I've heard of Ringling. Yes. I could theoretically get a squirrel brush badge? Yeah, I've drawn her. I mean, I guess if you pick some random Stormclans Folly Cat that has no personality or description or anything, I guess I would have to draw it. Theoretically. Including the kittens? What do you mean? Well, see, if you, like, go to... If you say, like, I want Dust Pelt, but I want him as Dust Kit, I'm probably going to refund you because I've not drawn him as Dust Kit. Usually what people do is if they go to the design blog, they look at the design. If it has multiple types, they'll specify which type they want. So, like, for Lion Blaze, you can specify, I want the Lion Paw, or I want the Lion Blaze, or I want him as Lion Kid, or I want him as Lion Blaze, but he's got the mustache. Yeah, Luna, I have done all the cats. I have drawn every single character except for the Stormclans Folly not released. Every single character on the Warriors Wiki that falls under the category of released, I have drawn. The Stormclans Folly Cats fall under the unreleased characters. And I have not drawn them yet. Well, I have drawn a few, but I won't be posting them until the book is released. Buy 2 buttons. People haven't been buying buttons lately. Buttons were the first thing that was on the shop, so... They are the cheapest thing on the shop as well. Tree. Leaf paw button. I'm glad you like her. Wonder when peak season for buttons is. There's not really a peak season for anything. I mean, I guess I'd probably get more orders during, like, Christmas time. But there's not really something that just sells suddenly really good over, like, other things, so... Alrighty, let's clean up the grass. This is a drop shadow. It does not need to be here right now. Where's the other one? Yeah, I want this color. also would like to lighten it up just a tad. Down here. What sells best? It's probably my ThunderClan camp picture and the Prophecies Begins poster. Let's see. I kind of want the rest of this to be slightly in shadow towards this. I want the main focus of this layout to be right in the middle of it. But let's make everything else mostly in shadow. Hey, Beth. Hey, Sailor. Working on Little Pistol. Trying to actually get this going momentum-wise. Man. This is a very similar layout to the first shot. It is a different, slightly different, but it is a very similar-ish shot. This star does not move in it though. This is like a very minimally animated shot. Like maybe her tail twitches or something like that. I don't know. She might like start moving towards the... Actually, I could see that. Like her starting to move towards the rock to start placing the flower. And the next shot is the one where she places the flower. The world isn't ready for it. I think it's ready for it. It's been 10 years. I think it's plenty ready. I want most of the vibrant green to be around the mound. I want the muted blues to be around the edges. Any tips to sketching backgrounds? start with like the major parts of the backgrounds and then work your way towards the smaller bits. It's kind of like a character design in that you should sketch the big shapes before you start doing the little forms. So when I started this background, I start with like the plain. I might add a little bit of these like dirt mounds, and then I start adding like the trees and like some of the rocks. I mean, obviously I started with the mound. And then you kind of just like start adding detail. There's like two different ways that I add detail to a picture. I either add it in the middle of the picture where you're like looking, or I like over add details towards the edges of the pictures, because when you start adding a lot of detail, your eye will like start to kind of wander away from it. That was my original style. But then it's like adding detail, and then there's like a blank space in the middle that your eye will kind of be drawn to that blank space as well. So I don't know. I found both to be pretty good. It's definitely, I've been leaning more towards like not as much detail though, because it takes a long time to do detail. Rendering water. I think I looked up like some tutorials on it, because there's like a lot of good tutorials of like how people put out water, but you have to think about it differently if you're like animating the shot. For this shot, the water here, there's a couple of different layers, right? So there's a shine layer. This is the layer that like a animator would use as a reference to like animate it going back and forth. And then there's a water highlight layer. And then there's a water shadow layer. So when I first painted this, I painted it like it was not, there was no water on it. And then you add the water on top. And then the animator uses this top layer to like wiggle it. There's water in this picture. I might get to it. I want to finish this whole layout today, so even if it takes me like, it's looking like it's gonna take me the full 5 hours to finish this one layout. Actually, rendering the grass detail is like the hardest part of this layout. The rest of it's just gonna be cleaning up the already decided on colors. So once we finish rendering out these like grass shapes and stuff, it'll be easier. Ming! I need to talk to you because I started sketching out your last commission and I'm thinking of finishing. I think I'm gonna be working on it tomorrow, but I need to see if you can okay my sketch. I've been struggling on the posing of it, but I need to send it over to you and see if you like it. It's not that the fighting pose was hard. It was hard for me to figure out the energy coming from each cat and like actually doing a cool pose that you can see both the cats in properly. Wait, I remembered seeing someone talk about a beef hack for drawing water where they just took a picture of raw beef and turned it blue. That sounds terrifying. I don't like that. Okay. Grass is done. Tree. Not the bee pack. That sounds like something on TikTok. That sounds like one of those how-to basics. Or like how to draw an owl, draw a circle, draw lines, draw the rest of the owl. Sounds like one of those types of things. A little backlight going on it. Check out the black and white. Yeah, I might darken. I don't know if I really want to darken. See, this tree is not the... It is kind of the main focal... Well, this part of the tree is the main focal point, so I don't think that this particular part of the tree needs to be lightened. Or darkened. Yeah, dreamy. That's another thing on my list. Like I said, I've been being pulled in a lot of different directions lately. And I've been struggling to keep afloat. Trying to get some stuff off my plate so I can get some more stuff. I have lots of things getting cooked in the oven right now, and I need to get some of this stuff out of the oven. This is why I'm doing the little pistol thing. This one's been in the oven for 10 years, and it needs to get off. As my grandma used to say, crap or get off the pot. Little pistol, I need you to crap. I'm using a square brush to clean this up. The square brush works for trees because then you can kind of get that bark feel to it. And it is raining during this scene, so that's kind of why the colors are so muted. I wanted the beginning of this to be like a very muted, somber blue drizzle, sort of. The next scene starts with a nice pastel, hopeful, calming palette before it switches to this intense purple and pink palette. Little Pistol has taken a lot of time to bake. It's hard not to overthink a project that's been in the works for so long as well. This background and this background and the next two, so there's the one of the shot over the river. This one is the other one that's gonna take like a crap ton of time to do. This one and that one are probably like the two more intensive backgrounds that I have yet to do for this scene. This scene has a lot more, wait, did I have another? Oh my gosh. I put another moss On the top of the tree. I might add that in later. Kind of like that. I like that touch of green at the top. How do I decide to plan my backgrounds? How do I decide? I don't know, whatever feels right. Having the elements kind of like having a composition in mind and stuff helps you figure out which elements can like be used to direct the eye towards certain parts of the background. Having like a whole map helps too sometimes. I have not been consistently working on it, but I have tried to finish it a couple of times since I released the animatic. Yeah, doing rough thumbnails helps. For sure. Okay. Do you guys see now why I don't usually do my cleanup on stream? Man, I really like this little moss. I'm gonna add it back in. The other one just looks so lonely by itself. I guess for me, I just start like with the shapes. Like you guys have seen me do character designs. It looks like snot right now, but it's what it looks like. But you guys have seen me do character designs where I like start with the basic shape of the thing and then I kind of like start rendering out the details. You can do that with backgrounds too, like with trees, with stuff, other stuff. I've definitely gotten into having a more like tangent-free line, like background style. I used to like kind of embrace the tangents in a way that like having multiple tangents in like certain parts of your picture would like draw you away from that part and into the area that doesn't have a lot of tangents. I guess they're more polished. I feel like they don't look as like natural, but I do try to balance like the natural feel to them still. It's always a balance. Life is about balance. And I have a couple of interior lines just to help with the dimensionality, just to show you that it's draping over and stuff like that. My old Flash VG style. That one was crazy. That one was pretty crazy. Didn't I? That's the only time that I've actually put a background tutorial together. I actually cannot view that anymore. That, thing, because it was done in Flash, so I have no idea. I would love to see it again. And I guess I could view it. But I would love to see it and see how, if it still, like, stacks up. How I do stuff nowadays. If you import them in Flash, I do still have Flash. I do remember the classic carrot trees. People talk about the carrot trees all the time. I still do the carrot trees. The carrot tree was meant to be like how a carrot consistently, it's a little bit lumpy, but it consistently gets smaller as it goes. I see a lot of people that do trees that they don't, it doesn't look like they're actually, like these branches up here should not be, the trunk of the tree has to feel like it can withstand the weight of these giant branches. Yeah, carrot trees, something like that. I don't remember. It was something like that, though. Gotta think about, like, the shape of things, too, while you're shading and stuff. Like, I want this to look like it's on the other plane. Yeah, something like that. They don't have to get smaller every time they divide off. It gets smaller as the tree goes up. All trees are different. You have to treat each tree like it's its own human being. Okay. I'm a little unsure of what I intended to do with the shading around here, but I'll make it work. Something like that. Mm-hmm. Where is the rock coming? Where is the light coming from? Well, technically there's not really any direct light because it's raining in this shot. But it's, yeah, relatively speaking from above, it looks like. Probably like this way. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be raining in this shot, so it's very muted colors. That is the point. Add a little bit of blue here and there. Why isn't this working? What do I have on? Oh, I'm on 10%, that's why. What's my favorite ice cream flavor? Interesting question. I'm a sucker for like orange creamsicle. I do quite like that. I like dark, like chocolate, coffee type ice cream. I'm actually not a huge ice cream person. Period. I'm back to rendering out the grass. I feel like every single time I do one of these backgrounds, it's like, okay, but have I rendered the grass enough? Yes, yes, you have, Jessica. Stop touching it. Okay. Can we do a quiz? What kind of quiz would you want to do? Maybe all River Clan. Yeah, we could do that. So the main focus will be this rock. Everything should be all eyes on rock. This mound should be what people look at. So this moss right here is going to be a pretty gray color. Let's see, get some more of this color gray going. Okay. Yeah, maybe just a little bit like that. Yeah, it's a dead baby's grave. Sad face. Oh, I never colored this rock. Check out the black and white a little bit. Yeah, see, the blues. Yeah. See, I need the whitest part to be around that, like a halo. I might fix this grass down here to be like a darker shade. Actually, it's kind of... because Blue Star is going to be right there anyway. Yeah, Blue Star's like right there, so there's going to be a drop shadow down here anyway, so I don't think it matters too much. I said that so casually. This is the wrong one. This is not the updated. It's true. Sad, but true. Okay. And then the So I think I'm gonna make most of the ferns over here about this color. Maybe a little bit more. Put those ferns down there. These ones are like mostly just Flavor Flav. Actually, I think the grass underneath there needs to be this color. Oh, I need it to be on this layer. And then the ferns over here just need to kind of see it tight. Putting moss on Stone Kid's grave? Or putting moss on the stone of Moss Kid's grave? It's not evil, that's illustrative storytelling. It's evil because it breaks my heart. Yep. That's the point. I make these just a slightly lighter color. Oh yeah, buy scooter scones. I saw that. It was interesting. That thrush pelt moss kit thing. I have seen it though. Scooter is in a couple of my discords, so I did watch that because it got sent in some of the discords I frequent. I felt like the song was like pretty, I don't know, I feel like it made Thrushpelt feel a little bit like he was scared to be their father or something. The character design, isn't it just a storyboard? Oh, Oh, I mean, yeah, it's got character design. Okay, sorry. My brain's a little bit... Next to Normal? I've never seen the musical. Is it still playing on Broadway? Yeah, I've never watched the musical. Oh. Because I was thinking of going to a Broadway show in September. My sister usually just picks the Broadway show, though. How many total backgrounds? Let me double check. Let me pull up my production sheet. Let's see. So there are... Let's look. There are 86 shots. So I would say probably about 80 backgrounds. I don't know how many I'll be able to reuse, but there are there's a couple that I can reuse. This is the... This is like the 6th one or something. Not all of them are like this intensive, obviously. A lot of the intensive shots are kind of at the beginning and end, background-wise. This one just so happens to be a establishing-y shot. I mean, this is the shot that establishes the moss grave. Alrighty, I think. I mean, this one's taking me, well, how long have I been streaming? I've only been streaming for 3.5 hours, you guys. This is actually like a pretty quick background. Yeah, 3.5. I think that's okay for now. Okay, so for this one, it's interesting. So the last couple of shots, I didn't have it at like the river, like the deep part of the river, right? Like this is still a pretty shallow part of the river. I mean, you can see the bottom through the river. This marks a pretty, like, these are the stepping stones almost. Like, these are heavy. These are rocks that are sticking out of the river. So I'll have to think about how to layer the water here, because I can't do like my traditional, like, draw the water bed. Technically, I don't actually know how I want to do that. This is going to be interesting. I also don't know if I like how detailed those ferns are. I feel like I could... No, I don't do any 3D elements in any of my stuff. I'm like, I know how I want to do it, so I'll probably just do it the way I want to do it. Probably will darken up this foreground a little bit. Either that or sometimes I'll put a fog. Below it. Something like that. I do like having this dark up here, though. I feel like I want this to be slightly darker. Honestly, I might just push the darks in the whole foreground and kind of push the darks over here a little bit more, just to draw your eye more towards the moss. This needs to be darker down there too. I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit. We can do a quiz. You said you wanted to do a River Clan one? No, I don't work in the animation industry. Well, I've never had, like, a paid job in it. I suppose. You wanted to do the River Clan quiz, you think? You heart River Clan? We have a couple different ones. We can do River Clan cats in alphabetical order. That one's pretty fun. We could do River Clan cats by suffix. We could do River Clan Cat's random order. I feel like alphabetical. Let's do alphabetical. This one's like easy. I can't have more than one pinned message though, but people haven't been asking the questions about Little Pistol, so we will get to. No, please don't cheat. Cheating is not fun. I'm gonna be working on that background again after we finish this quiz though. CML. Leaf Pool. I actually think Leaf Pool is on this quiz. Yeah, she is. Frost on. Oh, Aspen Tail. Arc Shadow. Oh man. Feather. Hawk. Moth. Sasha. Storm. Rook and Leopard. She lived there for a while. I actually think Alderheart's on this quiz too, and Fidget Flake. I think I've done it a couple times. What? Why isn't it? Guys? Hello?